Hi guys, welcome back. I have here the Omega Speedmaster. I purchased this a month ago and I've been wearing it for a month. This video is not going to be a long video, but it's going to be an honest video. I'm going to tell you the truth of what I think of this. There's a few things that I actually hate about this watch. I hate it, but there's quite a few things that I love. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to share my experience over the last month of what I think of the Omega Speedmaster Racing after wearing it, after experiencing it, after living with it. So stick around as I share my honest thoughts on this watch, the Omega Speedmaster Racing. Okay, welcome back guys. So like I said, I honestly believe that the only way to properly review a watch is to live with it, is to actually experience over the next month, week, 2 weeks. It doesn't matter the duration, as long as you get to live the watch, you can share your genuine and honest opinions. And the reason I say that is because you get to see how the watch wears, how it feels, how it behaves on the wrist, in different lighting situations, at night, during the day, outside, inside, and so forth. And this particular watch has not only surprised me, it's given me some joy, but there's some stuff that I hate about it. So I'm going to share those things with you. I'm going to start off with the things that I love about the watch. And first and foremost, the movement. The movement on this watch is incredible. The movement is outstanding. I shared a video, the first impressions of this watch a month ago, and I mentioned that the movement on this is a Valjoux 7753. That's the base, but it's a highly modified Valjoux, and it's Omega call it the Caliber 3330. It's incredible. I know that it's COSC certified. It features a silicon hairspring, a decent power reserve, but what I've been getting over the past month is 0 seconds per day gain. In other words, I've put this watch on my time grapher to test it, to see, how accurate it is. And my time grapher has yielded results of +1 second gain per day with an extremely healthy amplitude of 344 degrees and 0.0 milliseconds beat error. So the watch is producing great results on the time grapher, but on the wrist, it's 0. In other words, over the last month of wearing it on and off, putting it on the wrist, I've not had to adjust the time because there's been no fluctuation of the seconds. The seconds have been spot on. I don't have quartz watches that are this accurate. So I think Omega is always, I've always loved Omega, movements and so forth. And I think they've done a marvelous job on this one. So what I do love, number one, my first love of this particular watch, the movement. Number two, the crystal. I love the crystal on this watch. It's a sapphire crystal. It's a slightly domed sapphire, but the treatment that Omega has done with this is basically they've given it an AR coating underside as well as the top, and it seems to disappear. In most lighting situations, all I see is such clarity on the dial, on the subdials, the logo, the hands, everything just pops on this particular dial because the crystal just seems to disappear. So I'm really glad what they've done. As you can see, it seems to sit flush at the edge of the bezel, and it's got a beautiful slight dome to it, but really amazing clarity. I love the crystal on this watch. My third love of this watch, the size. It's a 40mm. It's a 40mm case. It has a lug-to-lug distance of 46mm, and it sits exceptional on the wrist. This just seems to, you don't even know that you've got a watch on. When you buy a watch and it looks good and it feels good and you don't know that it's there, that's a big plus. The worst thing that we do is we buy so many watches, and sometimes we end up with a big monster that's so heavy, it's so big, it's so chunky, and it's by the end of the day, it's a nightmare to wear. This is not one of those watches. This is wonderful. This is a 15mm height. The specs say, and I measure it in at 15mm, but I tell you what, it doesn't wear like a 15mm. The case height from the base to the case itself is only about 11, 9 mil, not between 9 and 10 mil, I estimate. But it wears like a 10 mil watch because the bezel and the crystal seem to be one body. They seem to, as you can see, there's a cantilever there. It seems to sort of sit up above the watch, but not create the bulk of the watch. It's difficult to explain. It's one of those things where the majority of the mass is in the case itself and the majority of the feel is in the case itself. So it feels and it sits beautifully like a 10 mil watch. So I love that. I love that. So, you know, they're basically my 3 likes. Actually, I've got one more like, the Clou de Barry pattern. The pattern in the subdials that they have on this is exceptional. The shading, the type of shadows that appear different times of the day, different types of lighting, how long a shadow is cast off those little pyramids is wonderful. I love the detail. I love the detail. So I'm only sharing with you guys the loves. I like everything about this watch, but I'm only sharing you my 4 main loves. But I do have some hates. I do have some hates of this watch. And my first hate is the size of the lug width, 19 mil. I hate that. I hate that. I've got so many 20 mil straps. I've got so many 22 mil straps. I've even got some 18 mil straps, but I don't have 19. 19 is that awkward in between size, and this particular strap is it's a Vario strap. Here you go. It's a Vario strap, and it's 20 mil, but as you can see, it seems to fit nice and snug. It's a soft silicone, and it sits quite nicely on this particular watch. But having a 19 mil width of lug, I have to go and source some 19 mil straps, and that's a bit of a bummer. You know, it's an awkward size for me, but that's one of my hates. And look, I'm being honest, guys. It's something I don't like. That's my first and foremost dislike. Number 2, the bracelet. The bracelet I love. The comfort on the bracelet I love. I mean, it would have been good to have micro adjustment in a more robust way. You know, this is your standard. Here you go. It's only got 2 adjustments. There you go, 2 adjustments. That is a negative, but I'm very, very lucky that the bracelet seems to fit perfect on my 7-inch wrist with this watch. So, you know, it's something that is a bit of a negative, but that's not the only thing wrong with the bracelet. This. If you have a look at the solid end links, and I've mentioned this before in a previous video, the extension that they do on that solid end link, I don't like that. It seems to score the back of the case. It seems to leave a mark on the back. There you go, just in there, on the back of the case. And a watch at this price point, you know, having something like that, it's not necessary. You know, and a couple of you guys have mentioned in the comments, get a file and file it off. And I agree with you guys. It's probably the thing I'm going to do with this, just to get the seat nicely. But this is my second dislike of the actual watch, is the bracelets. That extension on the lug end, as well as the fact that it's only got 2 micro adjustments. My number 3 dislike of the watch, the crown. The crown is beautifully seated and winds just perfectly. In fact, the gasket on the crown is spectacular. It's amazing. It's 100 meters water resistance, so it's nice and tight. It's perfect. But what I don't like about the crown, I can't get my finger underneath to hack it. It's so difficult to be able to get your finger. Let's see if you can see it in there. It's got a little gap just in there, but unless I've got a bit of a nail, it's very difficult to get into that. So that's a little bit frustrating. So my number 4 dislike of the watch, and you know what? I won't say dislike. This is the last one, and I'm going to say I'm sitting on the fence. I'm sitting on the fence, and that is the date adjustment, which is the pusher just here. See, because of the movement, the value movement, the way it's designed, you can't hack and adjust the date. What you need to do, I'll show you guys, that's a toothpick. You need to basically just, I'll get that in focus, you need to just click that, and it basically goes through, cycles through the date. So 11th, 12th, 13th, and so forth. That's something that, look, the reason I say I'm on the fence is because I don't mind having to input into the watch. I like that. It would have been good if I didn't have to have an external, you know, an extra thing like this, but you know, it's once a month. If I'm going to be wearing this pretty regularly during the month, it's something that I have to adjust once a month. So if I put this aside and in 5-6 days I pick it up again and I have to adjust it again, yes, that can become frustrating because I need to find a toothpick. So, you know, like, that's why I'm on the fence with that. But apart from that, guys, absolutely love this watch. Absolutely love the watch. The loom is a blue, coolish loom. The look of the watch, the legibility, overjoyed. You know, the like I said, the pluses, the movement, the crystal, the size, the way it wears, and the negatives were the 19mm strap, the bracelet, obviously with its flaws, and the fact that the crown is a little bit difficult to latch onto. But very happy, very pleased. But yeah, I wanted to share these things, guys, about the watch. It's great to be able to live with something and experience it in true life, you know, over a week or two or a month. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you like what you saw, guys, I encourage you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.